Hello, Bame Farm fans. What is yet another fantastic day? It's June 1st. We're finally digging out the bean planter. Being under roof, I should just have to hit a few grease zerks and we're ready to roll. For the longest time, I used to sit outside, but we got to move a couple corn heads in the combine to get back to it. Yeah, it's a little wide for all the rest of our barn doors, but since we got rid of the TR70 and I have the grain head on a header cart, the bean head now gets stuffed in the back of the barn. So let's move everything, shall we? Let's see if it's ready to roll. Smells like rodent repellent and Irish Spring soap. Here goes nothing, hot dog. Well, welcome to the Shady Rest garage underneath a nice tree here. And I gotta go through and pull seed boxes off, clean them out, check on stuff. Since having it in the barn, it's so much better. There's 3 grease zerks to get. Might check on the chain inside there, make sure they all turn. But like I said, once we finally were able to get this thing in a barn, I've had so many less bearing issues. Like, there's one year we replaced a few of those bearings in the wheels, and these rubber closing wheels are faring somewhat better than they did before. And the most important thing we're going to do is, because it's a wee bit dry, we're going to go through and we're going to change the depth. Come on. There we go. 1. This is 2. And 3. They really don't take much grease, but maybe 1 pump. Super simple setup. So now I gotta go through and check each of the boxes. It's fairly quick. Mostly it's just a check. A lot of times I don't find anything. Still a little bit of seed left in it from last year. But the big thing to check, gotta dump all this out real quick. It works better when I'm using 2 hands and not holding the camera. But those seed knockers right there, to make sure those move, and it does, so that's good. Just gonna finish getting all the seed out. Something made it a little sticky. I don't know, some bugs got in there, some weevils maybe. Something was eating on it, because I can see like little dust, like the seeds were eaten by something. Just gotta do that 9 more times. So I've gone through and given each one of these bolts a few turns, 4 to be exact, to make it deeper. Just to get us down into the moisture, because it's not as wet as it normally is. So we're going to put them a little deeper, and hopefully that gets them down to the moisture zone. I got 1 box on, I got to put them all on, and then we go put seed in. We're ready to roll. Well, I've come into the field and made a short distance in, planting, and, you know, I figured you didn't want to see me digging and digging. It's not treated seed, so it's a little hard to find. But right there is a bean, essentially where I found it. Like, I didn't disturb it. I probably disturbed a lot of beans just to find that one. It is challenging to dig and find beans, but we are, whatever depth that was, up the knife, we're solidly 2 inches. Because there's a thumb and 2 thumbs. It's 2 inches. So definitely not too shallow, but we got a lot of dryness on top. So we want to get them a little deep. Well, here's a nice in-cab view of planting. We're staying ahead of the dust. We got the dust to the wind to our face. The dust is blowing away from us. Oh, I am enjoying eating dust. It is great. We could maybe go for a rain. We're about done with beans. This is essentially the last field. It is June 7th, I believe. So it's delightful. In this one big soybean planting video, this is the earliest I've been done in years. Take a look out back and see the dust floating away. I just refilled not too long ago, and we're getting about 7 acres per fill. Takes me, by the time I fill and stuff, about an hour to plant that. So I guess, with fill time and planting time, we're moving. We're just gonna keep it moving. Most I need to be watching forward to watch the marker. But hey, we get more plants in a crooked row, right? Yeah, I set the planter deeper. I'm definitely happy with that. Because, well, I found a fun website called Weather Underground. And they at least try to make a stab at what the rainfall could be. And that is very nice of them to actually make a real projection instead of just chances. And we're looking at maybe a ½ inch this Sunday. ½ inch more than we've gotten in the last few weeks. That'll probably be enough to get this up. Okay, well, let's go marker up. I'll stop. Usually I don't stop. Most of the time I do this on the roll. Okay, well this one will have a nice finish. Usually I'm doing it on the roll, and I'm sure there's a little bit of overplant with the last 3 rows there are a little bit overplanted and cross-hatched, but it's beans. It's allowed to be a little bit messy. Okay, 3-point lever down. Marker is falling. And let's follow this marker. I never adjusted the markers, and it's nice not having super tall markers. Once we added the extra row units, I gotta keep that line right inside the tire. And this is a good point to note. My last pass was at an angle compared to how I'm planting. It's a slight challenge when you go the same direction, because sometimes the marker mark looks like the last pass of tillage. Sometimes. Well, the shadow is pretty cool right now. We're not doing too bad with the wildfire smoke. Yesterday there's a lot more haze up in the sky. We've had pretty solid sunshine today, like most days through planting season. I think the silhouette of the tractor is pretty cool down there. I project this will be a field that, once I get the beans out of the ground, will do really well if we continue with drought. And if not, I like my soybean variety enough that I'm pretty sure it'll swim too. I guess we'll throw this in as part of the bean planting video. I'm on the last field of beans. And, well, I guess finally I got my act together to know how to do all this stuff. I can more smoothly shoot a video, right? I've been too busy working. The weather's been dry, it's been great. So we gotta come back here, gotta turn the spreader on, which is just moving this lever. A little pin to pull, and we set it down. And this one drives off a sprocket off the wheel. Some of them have like a wheel that rides on top. This definitely provides very positive traction. And let's see, we got to set our rate. Let's see, we're about 70 pounds cubic foot for density. And I'm trying to put on 300 pounds total. So between 3.5 and 4. I already set it at about 3 3/4. We're gonna make a 40-foot spread pattern here. We'll get some fertilizer put on the beans. Putting on 100 pounds of lime with 200 pounds of 318-36. I'll give this a whirl. I had corn out here, and after the corn was planted, it was fairly dry. So as long as we get a little rain to get the beans out of the ground, they could do really well here, especially if it stays dry. And if it gets wet, as long as these beans get out of the ground, well, they survive standing water okay, thanks to like years like 2019 where it was supremely extra wet. So I think we'll be okay. Well, let's get to going and guessing and testing out my internal GPS for what 40-foot swaths might be.